But it will be Elena Protonova, Horkina's teammate, who gets us underway, first of 2 vaults.
Performing a 1.5 twist out of this. Not too bad in the air, but that landing is really going to kill her score-wise.
Again, the competitors will make 2 vaults. They can be different. Score from the 2 vaults will be averaged. And Protonova, 3rd in the 97 worlds all around.
This is worth a 9.8. Notice she's a little sloppy in the air. The legs were apart, but that huge step is definitely the biggest deduction.
You can see how amazingly strong she is. This woman has muscles in her hair.
She's also quite superstitious. She has a stuffed animal that she carries with her. She reads a prayer from her mother every day, and she gets her horoscope. And today's horoscope, I saw in New York Newsday for her February 15th birthday, advises no heavy lifting. Well, she's only 4'11", 95 pounds. It also said, imprint your style and stress originality.
It's a good thing she can't read English, Greg.
Elena Protonova, 2nd vault.
Absolutely her best performance. The performance of her life was at the World Championships last year, where she was the bronze medalist in the all-around. Now, this vault is called the Phelps, and it's one of the hardest vaults to do well. We've never really seen a gymnast do it extremely well. She gets in a great laid-out positions, but it's almost a little freakish looking.
Yeah, it tends to be a little ugly. The judges are really requiring the gymnasts keep their body very straight. She arches a little bit, and it tends to look a little ugly. Let's see if she can hold it together here.
Has had some ankle problems. Skipped the 96 Olympics because of the ankle problems, and recently the European Championships just a couple of months ago, but now saying that she's feeling healthy again.
Greg, of all the events on the ankles, this is the one that can really test them. There's that position, and it's so strange looking, but I think the judges are going to love it because it's hard to get in that position. Most gymnasts stay in a piked position.
It's a heck of a landing, and here is the position where she really arches. It looks a little sloppy, but this is a very difficult vault. It starts from a 9.8 start value, so the judges, even though it gets a little radical in the air, I think she's going to get a reasonably good score.
The average of the 2 vaults. Well, vault 1, a 9.35. And now, on the uneven bars, Elena Ploskova of Belarus.
Interesting leotard. It's almost hard to see the bars. Oh, and that's a major, major mistake on that pirouette. Immediately, 0.5 of a point off for the fall, and she'll run into trouble because she needs those skills to really get her bonus points to have the routine worth enough.
She's really the leader of the team from Belarus now after the retirement of Svetlana Baginskaya. Yelena Piskun is no longer around, and so their team is a little thin. Oh, that's too bad. She's really spectacular on the floor exercise. I hope we get a chance to see her on that later.
And generally very solid on the bars, but Poloskova, some difficulty there on the dismount. The scores for Protonova in the vault, 9.35 on the first vault, 9.4 on the second, average 9.375.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, back to the vault. From Russia, please welcome Svetlana Horkina.
And here she is, the reigning all-around world champion, Svetlana Horkina.
And this is her vault. It's named after her, and I have to say, she warmed up better on this event than I've ever seen her warm up. She usually crashes and burns and then nails it. This time, she warmed up beautifully and competed exactly the way she warmed up. That's what we're used to seeing.
And we just saw her teammate a few moments ago, and the two of them are built completely differently.
I think everybody's built differently than Horkina. She has her own body type, her own style, and she uses it.
When every gymnast out here looks like a gazelle, she looks like a giraffe. She's a head taller than everybody, and yet she still manages to pull off some of these amazing acrobatic skills.
It's quite complex. That twist onto the horse, twists off, and manages a back pike somersault after. A good landing.
Well, the world champion, flamboyant personality.
That vault, by the way, starts from a 9.9 start value. Now, this will be interesting what she does for her second vault, because in the all-around competition, they have to do 2 different vaults, and the score is averaged. The second vault will either be a 1.5 twist or a double twist.
Poliskova score on the uneven bar, 8.55.
Here's vault number 2.
She's performing a Yurchenko in laid out position with a 1.5 twist, and she did this quite well in the warm-ups.
This will have a 9.8 start value. That's the maximum score she can get for this vault based on its difficulty rating.
Bart, we saw her miss this at the Europeans. Let's see what she does with the landing here. Nicely done. A little startled by the landing. You could see her face right as she made that landing, but
Appreciated by the crowd. Horkina's first vault, a 9.475.
Everything about her says, I want to be a star. I mean, most gymnasts, they salute the judges. She blows kisses to the audience. This is the laid out position, 1.5 twist. Great form, and really much better than we've seen her do it consistently.
We'll have her second score when we come back, and we'll have competition including Dominique Moceanu of the USA.
On the uneven bars.
Meng Fei, silver on the uneven bars in the 97 Worlds.
The 62 years old from Beijing has won of the People's Republic of China.
And the young Chinese competitor appears quite happy with that performance.
silver medalist at the World Championships on that event.
5th in the world all-arounds in 97. And
Now back to the vault.
we go back to the vault, and her teammate, Ling Jia. This is a discipline that she needs to improve on.
Well, she's steadily improved during the warm-ups. At first, she could not make this vault. Oh.
Okay, she did just a full twist.
Just a full twist. Her next vault, I believe she'll try and do the 1.5 twist, which is the one she was having trouble with. But it's a nice, clean vault. But the start value is going to hurt it. It's only a 9.5 start value.
Let's take a minute to explain the start value to those who might not be familiar with this.
Well, it rates the difficulty of the vault, so that is the maximum that vault can score if done perfectly.
So getting the perfect 10 has become more difficult?
Almost impossible.
In an event like the vault, there are only a couple of vaults that actually have a 10-0 start value, and you risk your life to get there. So these gymnasts are doing vaults that have 9.8 and 9.9. Even the best gymnasts in the world, their start values are only 9.9 at the best on women's vaulting.
Ling Jia of China, her first vault, a 9.125.
And now here's vault number 2.
Now here she's going to try the 1.5 twist. And she finally made him in the workouts, the warm-ups, right before the competition. I think she made 3 of them.
I think she's going to have to get a little lucky to make this.
Oh, there. Good job. I think she's just thrilled to be on her feet.
Simona Amenar of Romania, who has had that position of being second in World Championships and second in the Europeans behind Horkina, and it was a 9.475 first vault for Horkina, 9.5 second vault, average 9.4875. So she watches as her old rival gets on the uneven bars.
The Romanians' philosophy, particularly on this, oh, wow.
Good save.
Very good save. The judges are going to see it, though, and take a little deduction. They're a little sloppy. Both she and her teammate, Maria Olaru, are a little sloppy in the warm-ups. Watch the feet form. Not quite as fine-tuned as we're used to seeing.
We talked to head coach Octavian Bellu before this competition. He said the young ladies were taking their examinations. They want to enter the university next year, so they aren't quite as fit as they normally expect to be, but she gutted through that routine, didn't she?
She pulled off a pretty good one. And besides, their philosophy is design routines to win, to hit. There's nothing spectacular in them usually.
Simona Amenar looking for her first major all-around title here.
Just caught a glimpse of the tiny little break she had at the beginning, but as you said, Bart, she covered pretty well and got into the more difficult release move.
Pretty tough performer. I'm familiar with those Romanians. They're pretty tough athletes. Nice finish for Amenar. It'll still get a decent score.
9.1 for Zena on her first vault. Here's vault number 2.
9.1 the score for Zena McLaughlin of Australia in her first vault.
This will be a Yurchenko 1.5 twist. again, worth a 9.8 maximum value. Takes a lot of concentration to perform this vault. A lot of precision. It's got to get right on top of the horse. Very nicely done. We're not seeing great landings yet, but the vault was well executed. Pike front half, little late on that twist. Start value of 9.6.
For Olga Teslenko of Ukraine, had a 9.025 on the first vault.
Teslenko, very well known for her work on the uneven bars and the balance beam. She was a beam finalist at the Olympics in Atlanta. A little bit weak on the vault.
Score of the second vault, 9.025 for Teslenko, the only member of the Ukraine team here. And the average, 9.025, and that ranks her at this moment. And Maria Olaru of Romania, uneven bars.
Like her teammate Simona Amanar, she's a little bit sloppy, not quite as sharp as I've seen her in the past. Watch her toes and her knees. They kind of bend and come apart a little bit. So the judges will be kind of tallying up those deductions. Not a bad routine. Kind of a stock routine. Nothing spectacular, but tiny little form breaks, but nothing major.
16-year-old, just moving into the senior competition, getting some experience here, exposing herself to the judges. And Sierra Sapinar, her first vault.
Oh, critical vault. Oh, and she went for it. Oh, what a shame. She had a very scary landing in the warm-ups. Hyperextended, looked like both of her knees. So I'm sure she was a little bit nervous going for that landing.
Let's take a look at her hands here on the front side of the horse. She's really early on the horse, didn't get up on top, and didn't get the kind of block and push that she needed to send herself up in the air to set that vault up just right.
You know, Bart, when you've had a landing like that,
oh, man.
The next time you run down there, there's no way you're not thinking of just get over and land in a safe way.
The first vault score for Sierra is 8.8.
8.8 for Sapinar, who also is just moving into the senior competition.
And I think we've seen a little bit of nerves in the workouts and warm-ups. She's trying to settle into this level of competition. She's excited, needless to say, and good for her.
You remember that transition.
Absolutely. It's the only way to get that kind of experience.
That's better.
Much better ball. Good landing.
And that'll build some confidence as she goes through this all around.
Certainly. That vault is only with a 9.5, but she did it very well, very clean, with good landing.
At the completion of the first rotation of the women's all-around gymnastics competition, Dominique Mosiano of the United States is the leader at 9.625. In second, Maria Olaru of Romania. Meng Fei of China is third. Svetlana Kurinka of Russia is fourth. Then it's Simona Amanar of Romania, fifth. And finally, sixth, Yelena Prodanova of Russia. Now let's move to the second rotation of this all-around gymnastics competition at Nassau Coliseum.
Second rotation getting underway with Svetlana Horkina on the uneven bars, and the event she owns, 98 in the European Championships. Gold medal in the bars, 97 world all-around champion, also won the bars, 96 Olympic bars champion. What more can you do?
And Greg, when you're talking about the world all-around champion, that means they're great on every event, but she is spectacular on this one. From start to finish, she is just original, creative, unique, and so smooth. Everything is effortless. comes her trademark move. Right there, it's called the Horkina.
Boy, she is on. This is nice. Oh!
That'll be a little deduction. Not a major one, but a little one.
Well, Horkina sticks the landing, but remember, she is in 4th position after the first rotation. So with this, her perhaps best event, she needs some big points here.
Those faces she's making is because of that skill that almost went over.
And now, on the balance beam, Meng Fei of China, 97 Chinese national champion.
Always so beautiful on this event and has difficulty that is unmatched by most in the world. And poise, just such beauty. This gymnast is a photographer's dream. You could not take a bad picture if you just snapped away from start to finish.
Working the 4-inch beam like a broad avenue.
Tiny little balance break. Even when she's correcting, though, everything is extended.
Meng Fei of China.
Well, certainly my love affair with the Chinese gymnasts on the event continues. Just beautiful work. And always, I have to say this, though, almost every time we see them, they hit a beautiful routine, absolutely gorgeous, and then we'll take a step or even fall on a fairly simple dismount. Don't understand that.
Svetlana Horkina's score. She blows her fans a kiss. A 9.8. So that will help bring her up. She doesn't look disturbed, that's for sure. Plenty of time for Horkina to do her thing. Warming up on the uneven bars, Ling Ji of China.
She has some beautiful work here on this event. You want to talk about a perfectly straight body as she swings and goes through handstand. This is it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, back to
The Chinese national champ. Oh, Meng Fei, her score 9.6. And her teammate now, Ling Ji. Meng Fei in 2nd after the first rotation.
Be interesting to see if she can make this routine. She had lots of trouble doing these difficult combinations in practice.
And they are difficult, Bart. One right after the other. Look at that.
Nice.
I would say the judges are salivating on that combination because that is just incredible. Those are the hardest skills for these tiny little Chinese gymnasts. The transition from low to high, that's a long way to go.
Oh, my goodness. Look at those pirouettes into inverted giant swings. They're just masters of this event.
No doubt. Great difficulty, beautiful form, and a real good landing to top it off.
Stunning by Ling Ji. Just 15 years old, Chinese national champion in this event. Little tiny hands doing big, big work. 4'8", just 70 pounds.
Now back to the balance beam from Romania. Please welcome Simona Amanar.
Simona Amanar of Romania. Balance beam. Amanar in 5th after the first rotation.
Oh.
I can't believe, I was just getting ready to say one of the most consistent gymnasts in the competition.
Romanians, the last team to arrive here from Europe. Day after everybody else. Jet lag, perhaps?
I think probably a combination of that, and as Bart mentioned earlier, they're really trying to prepare to go to college, so they've been taking entrance exams, I guess, or exams to prepare for college. So they're not quite as sharp. But even with their residual training, they still pull off some pretty good routines. But on balance beam, it's hard to make up for the lack of the level of work they're accustomed to. It's a difficult dismount pass. Not a bad routine once she got past the mount. It's too bad she had the fall, but I have to say, if they're going to take time out to do something, isn't it great that it's going toward their education and continuing on after gymnastics? And it's nice to see they are doing that.
Simona Amenar, second in the all-around, 97 worlds, 98 Europeans. Ling Ji, a big 9.8 for her uneven bars. And Zina McLaughlin of Australia from Melbourne. 52nd in the all-around in the 97 world preliminaries. And the Australians, of course, trying to build a team as they get set to host the games.
And make sure that they're qualified for the Olympic Games in their own country. Oh, come on over. There you go.
Well, they've dropped to 11th in team standings now, and only 12 teams do qualify. So this young woman feeling a lot of pressure as the team leader for Australia.
Solid performance for her.
Zina McLaughlin of Australia. Uneven bars are her favorite. Amenar's score on the beam, a 9.150. So if she had hopes of rising from 5th place after the first rotation, they have been dashed. Dominique Moceanu. Again, the crowd is ignited by her presence and her standing in first after the first rotation.
Probably the most critical event for her, especially when she got past the uneven bars and got past them so well. That must have really sparked her, though. Very exciting to be leading at this point. Oh, she's so aggressive. Look at her attack the landings.
Talk about the new attitude that she seems to be possessing. It really seems evident that she's focused here. She certainly likes to compete in front of a home crowd. She enjoyed that in Atlanta.
And she's already added, we just saw new skills on the balance beam as well. New combinations. She's really trying to build up her routines for this new code of points. Obviously well prepared for this competition, because you cannot fake it on the balance beam. All she has left is the dismount. Look at the concentration. She's trying to stick. Good job. Another excellent performance.
Moceanu rides the wave of applause. The youngest American to ever take a gold medal in gymnastics at 14, and she is showing some flashes of gold medal form.
What a difference from the World Championships last year, where she just didn't quite give herself enough time to prepare for it. She finally came through in the all-around finals and hit all her routines, ended up 14th, and she was pleased that she hit, but knew at the time, you know, she really had a lot more to go before she was back.
Olga Teslenko, Ukraine, uneven bars. 7th on the uneven bars, 97 worlds.
Good event for her.
5th in the 98 Europeans.
Nice combination. Good difficulty.
I really like the precise form and technique. Her body line is just so clean, isn't it?
It's very tight and compact. Oh, nice combination for the dismount. Difficult one to land, and she pulls it off. Anytime you're going forward, that's just a little more difficult to spot the landing.
Well, Olga Teslenko makes it look pretty easy there with a nice dismount, nice routine throughout. Competing here as the only member of the Ukraine team in that little tough. Dominique Moceanu, 9.750, and that will keep her in first place at this point through the...
admittedly is, just by watching some of the routines, you'll start to see many of the same skills done by all of the performers. Clearly, those are the ones that give them the bonus points.
Well, a big code of points changed after the 96 games.
Significant. Oh, it makes it much tougher for these athletes to have routines that are worth 10, but they're already getting up to snuff, really.
Interesting, because Poliskova lately has been tending to have a fall or some other inconsistency, which we saw there.
Sometimes it's hard to break that trend. It's hard to take the tape out of your head and reprogram yourself and get the confidence back.
Well, particularly on the balance beam.
Balance beam is a whole different animal. It's much different than any of the other events competing on it. You have to really control your nerves, your adrenaline, your mind to make sure that it stays on the positive side and stay aggressive, because it's very tempting to hold back and not want to make a mistake, and that's when you do.
You talk about it being an animal, I'd have to say it was a crocodile. It'll just lie there and then boom, come up and snap at you.
Jim McKay said during the Olympics in '84, it must have been invented by a man.
Poliskova of Belarus, and the face shows her disappointment. And Sierra Sapinar awaiting her score. Uneven bars, 9.575.
Good score for her. That's got to feel good.
Young American now building momentum. Yelena Prodanova, uneven bars.
And now back to the uneven bars from Russia. Let's welcome Yelena Prodanova.
One of the biggest shocks that I experienced at the World Championships was her score on the uneven bars. She had a fairly major break in my mind and a very weak dismount, and yet the score was way up there, and she ended up winning the bronze medal in the all-around. And the skill was right here after that release move down to the low bar. You see her legs go way out, they're bent, toes aren't pointed, and I just can't figure it out that either the judges missed it or dropped their pencils or something. I'm not sure.
It is interesting that the judges are directly to the side of her, so they may not see it quite as well as we could see it if we're on sort of an oblique angle.
I think that must be right. It seems obvious to us.
And she is a strong competitor.
And I have really been looking forward to seeing this routine. She is lovely and so poised. Incredible difficulty already in the routine. Oh, that is a young, inexperienced gymnast mistake. Had she been aggressive and really been ready to attack that landing, I think she could have saved it. I could be wrong, though.
Well, Ling Ji's coach predicts that she will win the bars and the beam in the 2000 Olympics, and she's got to go a long way from what's happening here tonight.
I'll tell you one thing, though. She has the elements that would earn her a gold medal. She's going for major difficulty in these routines. Now, if she has a couple more years to get confident so she can nail these routines, these are the kind of routines that can win the gold medals.
And the difference, Bart, you have to learn to be able to do this in competition. She's perfect when she does individual elements and workout, and we sit in amazement as gymnastics lovers.
Well, remember, she's only 15.
She says that she admires Gina Gorjan from Romania and Svetlana Horkina because of the way they compete. Perhaps she can learn a little bit from them in terms of their intensity.
I've always said I think the Romanians train to win, train and compete to win. The Chinese train and compete to do beautiful gymnastics, and there's a difference. And that was a gorgeous routine, but unfortunately, some major mistakes, a full point in falls.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to floor exercise. Our first competitor from Romania. Let's welcome Silvana Avanar.
Well, while Horkina pulled herself from fourth to second in the second rotation, Amanar dropped even farther down. Simona Amanar now in a desperate ninth spot.
And
two mediocre rotations for her.
And a miscue of the music, which is Okay. Wait till we know they're... No, the red light's still on, so just wait.
So we're going to restart. Well, world champion Svetlana Horkina was able to pull herself from 4th to 2nd in the second rotation, but this has not been the case for Simona Amanar. She dropped in the second rotation down to 9th, and now on the floor exercise in a desperate position.
Unfortunately, she had a fall on her mount on the balance beam. This is certainly an event where she can score well based on her difficulty.
Not known for artistic gymnastics, not inspired gymnastics, so the floor exercise is a little tougher for her.
I would just say they're less artistic. They have a different view of what gymnastics routines should look at. As I said before, their philosophy is train and compete to win. So they build routines around consistent elements, not necessarily beautiful or artistic.
To head coach Octavian Bellew before the competition. He said he was a little concerned about the fitness level of his young ladies because, as we said earlier, they were working on their examinations trying to get into the university. So he said, I don't know how well they're going to do.
She'll just have to work a little bit harder, but with talent, the talent level that she has, easily pulls off a double pike at the end.
Nonetheless, 0.8 behind the leader, Moceanu, after 2 rotations.
Almost impossible to make up.
Simona Amanar.
Let's take a look at how she hangs these tumbling moves up in the air. This is where she really is a specialist. Very nice pike double back somersault at the end of the routine. Even though her coach says her conditioning isn't great, she sure had plenty of endurance to do that move at the end.
Zina McLaughlin of Australia.
Beautiful mount sequence. Lovely and very difficult.
I think she's going to gain a lot of fans here this week. She is really an impressive young gymnast.
Very well prepared for competition. She's quite confident.
Greg, you talked about the pressure on the Australians to produce some champions by the time of the Sydney Olympics. One famous American coach, Peggy Liddick, who was one of Shannon Miller's coaches in Oklahoma, she has recently moved to Australia and working with their national team, and she happens to be one of the best beam coaches in the world, so some of that could be rubbing off on this young lady.
I know some of the new elements look painful on balance beam. I can happily say I've never done that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Sure glad we don't have to do this event, Kathy.
Though 17 now, McLaughlin's had some difficulty making the transition from her junior success to senior success. And here is the leader after 2 rotations, America's Dominique Moceanu, getting set for floor exercise. Youngest U.S. senior champion ever at age 13 and 95. Simona Amanar at 9.675. Well, that's an improvement, but being 0.8 behind after 2 rotations, not enough.
Right before Dominique stepped onto the floor, you could see her mouthing something to herself. She's so focused on this knee. Very popular river dance.
You could just feel the energy in this building lifting her up.
This is the cleanest I've ever seen her in her dance.
her 5 inches of growth serves her better?
Absolutely. I just think her lines are much more beautiful.
For several years, she had the cutesy kind of routines. It's nice to see her do something a little more mature and elegant.
That's the best floor performance I've ever seen her do. I enjoyed the dance, the music, the whole performance.
And resonating applause for Dominique Moceanu.
Take a look at the tumbling here. This will be the triple twist. This is new for her. And as you mentioned, Kathy, she barely squeaks it around, but she showed good calm control in all of her landings, and her dance elements were very clean and well presented. This is a mature Dominique Moceanu we haven't seen before.
As we continue the third rotation, we move to the balance beam. Olga Teslenko from the Ukraine. The 17-year-old has already appeared in the vaults and the uneven bars through her first 2 rotations. Teslenko already using her gymnastic series elements. They're required to perform acrobatic series and gymnastic series elements on the 4-inch wide beam. Competitors' routines are required to be between 70 and 90 seconds long. Here again, the gymnastic maneuver. Teslenko with the dismount. A stumble at the end. Olga Teslenko completing her routine on the balance beam in the 3rd rotation.
Championships finished 3rd with her team and 2nd on the balance beam.
Welcome back. Dominique Moceanu leading after 2 rotations. Her 3rd rotation score on the floor exercise, a 9.7. That was the best on the floor so far. Will it hold off the charge of Svetlana Horkina, who was .088 behind and has yet to compete in this 3rd rotation, as we now look at Maria Olaru of Romania.
Olaru got a generous score on the uneven bars and then followed up with a really nice performance on the balance beam, Kathy.
You read my mind. I have nothing more to say there.
Which puts her in 3rd after 2 rotations. Music, Invisible Circus, and it's got a driving, kind of exciting beat to it.
Pretty long wait in the corner. There's usually a deduction, a concentration deduction. That's the best landing of the whole floor. The other two landings were a little bit off. I think the judges will deduct for those, but I thought they would deduct on the uneven bars.
You know, as an athlete, when you go into your first performance and you get a little generous score, you think, hey, maybe this is going to be a pretty good day. You know, she wasn't really fighting for these landings. She doesn't seem too intense. She just kind of take whatever she gets when she pulls it around, in contrast to Moceanu, who's fighting for everything she can get today.
Sierra Sapinar.
So far is having a great competition, particularly considering her warm-up. She crashed on this event. She crashed on vault. I mean, she was really showing some nerves, and I think maybe she just got them out. I think she realized, you know what, I'm okay up here. I can do this.
What sort of expectations might she have set for herself, or her coaches set for her?
I would imagine their goal was to come out and hit every single routine because they want to develop confidence and the feeling that she belongs here and get some experience, and also get the judges to start noticing her with not the pressure of a team competition on her.
She's a very outgoing young lady, and you see that in her performance here. You'll see it on the floor as well. She really sells what she can do. And it's really an extension of her personality. She's very, very proud, and she's right up front with the way she develops her presentation.
Something you said earlier, Kathy, that...
Oh, I'm worried about those landings. She lands a little bit lock-kneed, which is the way she landed on vault, and hurt her knees. So I'd like to see her bend her knees a little bit more, just for safety's sake.
You were talking earlier about the fact that Sapinar is so in awe of the great stars who are here, she's not quite ready to say, you know, I'm one of them and I'm going to compete against them. She's sort of in their shadow in her own mind.
I think she's getting there, though. She's just got to get comfortable with that.
Elena Poliskova, floor exercise. The Belarus, polished dance in this event. And new floor exercise since the Europeans in May.
Fun with that choreography. Need to see it in her face as well, which we will see later from Horkina. She really gets more expressive in the face. Dynamic routine.
Elena Poliskova of Belarus.
Now back to the balance beam from the Russian Federation. Let's welcome Elena Prodanova.
Elena Prodanova of Russia. Balance beam. Talks about how she's always in a good mood, good-natured person. Loves to sign autographs, is much adored at home.
Oh, my goodness, another fall.
And not on a particularly hard element. Kind of a tricky element, but one she probably doesn't miss usually.
She delivered at the World Championships in Lausanne the routine of her life on this event, scored a 9.75 with her very unique dismount.
That she stuck cold, and wait till you see it.
Prodanova cried for hours after seeing the movie Titanic, and it looks like the balance beam may have been her iceberg this evening.
Okay, now watch this dismount. This is one tough trick. And very difficult to land. She does it extremely well. I'm impressed.
Yelena Prodanova recovers from her mishap on the balance beam to finish well.
And now to the floor exercise of the People's Republic of China. Please welcome
Fourth in the 97 Worlds in Floor Exercise, Meng Fei of China takes the floor.
This is a delightful routine. From the choice of music to the choreography. It's real choreography, real dance.
The score for Olaru on the floor exercise, 9.250. Puts her into second at this point, but remember the rotation has not been completed.
And Greg, that was as close as you can come to going out of bounds and not. Her foot was over, but it didn't come down.
Chinese team for the 96 games, isn't thinking as far ahead as the 2000 games.
The judges will be hard-pressed to find deductions in that routine. Lovely footwork, the presentation. It's very unique, very pretty.
Meng Fei of China.
Let's see. It's hard to say whether she put her foot out. I didn't see a flag go up, but she crossed over the line, but I don't know if it came down. See, it scooted over the line,
outside,
didn't touch.
Right.
So
saved her a 1/10 of a point. It would have been a 1/10 of a point deduction if her foot touched outside the line.
Svetlana Horkina, her third rotation. And she needs a 9 or better than a 9.788 on the beam to pass Moceanu.
And since Svetlana Horkina loves to win gold medals, she's going to have to be perfect on this event. This is critical.
Interesting, she changed her mount a little bit, left out a layout. She may be playing it a little bit conservative here.
Which she can do on this event. She has enough to take something out and still be right up there with the best.
Silver medalist, 97 Worlds on balance beam.
Good save.
Very good save, but it's hard to say. The judges, I think, will see that, and we'll see what deduction they take. She's a master of saving things, though. No.
Oh.
That's too much. And she knows it.
Interesting thing about this young lady, when we see her in international competition, generally she's a little weaker in the prelims, and she starts to get better as the competition goes on. But in this Goodwill Games competition, it's a finals-only format. So tonight is the all-around. This is the only night that matters for her right now.
this now. I've grown so accustomed to seeing it, but I still love it. Because she knows you can see it on her face. There was no room for error there.
Will Horkina get the 9.788 plus that she needs, or will Mociano continue to lead after 3 rotations?
Beautiful leap sequence. Look at the amplitude. Perfect split. But watch here. She knows she's off in the air. She saved it, which was nice, but it is a deduction. Here. I think, Bart, you're right. She's going to gain some fans here.
All of her scores between about 9.25 and 9.4.
Wrong music?
They've done that twice so far in the competition where they messed up on somebody's music. They're either starting it too quickly or starting it in at the wrong point.
Oh, come on. A real gymnast would just done their routine to any music that comes up, Kathy.
Well, it turns out that was Aminar's music.
Oh.
It happened to me once.
Yeah?
Champions Hall in London.
Did you make up a routine?
I had to walk over very politely and tell Madame Simonescu. And she thought I said, it's not my music. It is my music. They just started at the wrong time.
Opening tumbling run. She gets 0.3 of a point bonus for that combination of skills. Good job.
Sounds like Peggy Liddick music.
Certainly Shannon Miller music, doesn't it?
Very nice routine. She has had a really solid competition.
It's exciting for Mociano. It's exciting tonight for everyone here. The leader after 3 rotations, Dominic Mociano. Now on the vault.
One of the biggest differences I see in her competition is that she's able to really control her excitement. Because the reason why Bart and I both synchronize O's, anytime you see a gymnast land straight-legged, we first fear for the knees, but I mean, she just attacked the landing and stayed put, and she seems fine.
A lot of people who saw her last perform, perhaps only at the Olympics in Atlanta, saw her land on her seat. On this particular vault, she landed very high, and as you can see, this will be a good angle to watch the stress on the knee. This is very dangerous to land lock leg. Let's see what happens there. Oh, my goodness. She's lucky she didn't get hurt there.
2 vaults for Dominic Mociano. Scores averaged. This is the 4th and final apparatus for her.
Interesting about this vault, this is a new vault for her, and it is spectacular. We saw her doing it in practice.
And on top of that part, we really hadn't seen her do that 1.5 twist since the Olympics in Atlanta. She had watered down her vaults at the World Championships.
9.55, the kind of score that's going to help her hold off an attack from Horkina here in this last rotation.
Well, with this vault right here coming up, it's worth a 9.9. Score big!
Oh, nice.
Now, there was a hop there, but keep in mind the start value was 9.9. Most of the vaults we're seeing have been start values of 9.8. So she starts with a 1/10 of a point advantage there. And it's a huge vault in the air. They will have to deduct for that landing now. How impressed with her are you here?
This is amazing. Not only the power, but the technique. Look at the form as she keeps her body straight and does a laid-out half turn. That's a vault we never saw her do before, and she does it perfectly.
Olga Teslenko of Ukraine. Good dance, but known for weak tumbling.
Team from Ukraine in sort of a transition period. Lilia Podkopaeva, the Olympic champion, still considering going to Sydney, but she had surgery. And then Victoria Karpenka, who is an amazing young talent, struggling with injuries, is not here as well.
They did a remarkable job at the World Championships. Ended up competing with only 4 gymnasts, so they were undermanned. But I think they impressed a lot of people. Good form, good technique.
Svetlana Horkina knows the numbers. She has got one performance to come here in this 4th rotation, the floor exercise. But no matter what she does, she will not catch Dominique Moceanu. She would need a 10.062 to tie, and more than she can get. So Moceanu, with a 9.587 average in the vault, has this championship locked up.
And Maria Olaru just performed a very difficult double twisting Yurchenko. It, too, is worth a 9.9, one of the highest ranking vaults here.
1998 first place Europe.
That should score well.
Yeah, she is a spectacular vaulter, and the Romanians with Amanar, who has dominated vaulting for the last few years at the Worlds and the Olympics. Olaru has beaten Amanar. Even though she's a little taller than most of the gymnasts, it's surprising that her acrobatic skills are so tight.
I was going to say, you look at her and you would not think of her as a vaulter. Shows you what technique can do.
The score is 9.625 for Maria Olaru.
9.625 for the Romanian Maria Olaru. First vault. 96 European junior vaulting champion.
This vault also has a 9.8 start value. If she does it well, not bad.
Too much pike. Too much pike. And as we were talking about before the competition, Bart, the judges are hitting them harder for that now. They used to just almost overlook that, and it scored much better in competition.
Back to the floor exercise from the United States. Please welcome Sierra Savinor.
What an exciting experience for this young gymnast to perform so well at the Goodwill Games.
Sierra Sapinar on the floor exercise, maybe the only gymnast, man or woman, to do a 2.5 twisting front.
Ironically, she doesn't use it in this competition here because of the way the judges value it. It's better to do a combination of 2 moves rather than just doing that alone to earn the most amount of bonus points. But what we like about her is that even though she's new to this level of competition, she has an attitude that says, hey, look at me, I belong here.
Much more animation than we saw in the first and second rotation. She's been building her confidence throughout the evening.
From the warm-ups right through this event, she has gotten better and better. Had some nerves during the warm-ups, had a few crashes.
To think that last year she was second at the junior nationals here in the United States, and to see her now, she hasn't even competed in the senior national championships for the United States, and yet here she is competing in a major international meet. Good for her.
Good job.
Sierra Sapinar of the USA.
She's got to have a big smile on her face.
Last year's 1997 USA Gymnastics National Championships as a junior, Sierra finished second in the all-around competition and tied for first on the floor exercise. Once again, let's give it up for Sierra Sapinar from Cincinnati. Our next volter from Belarus, please welcome Elena Poloskova.
Elena Poloskova, Belarus.
Very high vault, but it's only rated at a 9.6, so she starts at a slight disadvantage there. And of course, the deduction on the landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elena competing in the 1998 European Championships in St. Petersburg. She finished 9th on the vault and the floor exercise, and 13th in the all-around competition. The score is a 9.225 for
Vault, usually the best and favorite event, of course, for Poloskova.
And this next vault is much more difficult. Front layout with a half twist. It's worth a 9.9.
9.225 on the first vault.
Kathy, you mentioned the height that she gets. She also gets quite a good distance from the horse, which is very impressive to the judges.
Much better landing on that one. We saw some form deductions in there. I'm sure the judges will pick up on those.
Poloskova awaits the second vault score, 9.225 first score.
Exercise from the Russian Federation. Please welcome Elena Prodanova.
Elena Prodanova, floor exercise. She took the bronze in the 97 Worlds.
And she tumbles just like her body type. You expect her to just bounce, and she's got some power.
Wow.
And some good Achilles tendons.
Never thought you could muscle a tumbling move, but she shows you how.
When you have that many muscles, you can, Bart.
Prodanova needs a better than 9.762 to move past Sapinar, who is, at this moment, though the rotation not complete, in third.
Too bad. Another very difficult tumbling run, and one she usually lands. It's hard to do on the third pass, really.
Pretty risky. You usually do a move like that when you have a little more juice earlier in the routine.
Ironically, this is the hardest pass for her to land.
Oh.
She doesn't do it that well, technically, but she pulls it around.
Ladies and gentlemen, the silver medal team in the 1997 World Championships. Elena also finished third in the...
There she is, Dominique Moceanu. She can just wait and wait for the glory to fall on her. She will become the first non-Russian woman to win the all-around at the Goodwill Games, no matter what Svetlana Horkin does, the reigning world and European champion. But first, was in second.
It's going to be very difficult for her to move up. That vault's only worth a 9.5. It's a simple handspring pike front, and though it was beautiful and very graceful, it's going to be tough to score well.
It's a good example of the current rules these days that, you know, you can come with a very nice, clean, pretty vault like this, and it is beautiful. It's high, the technique is lovely, the landing is reasonably well controlled, but if you don't do a high level of difficulty, you might as well stay home. That's only a 9.5 at its best, so a 9.1, 9.2, 9.3 is all she can expect on a vault like that.
Well, she was in second place after 3 rotations. Maria Olaru's vault, seen just moments ago, a 9.55.
Here's your second vault.
Now she's going to add a half twist. This one's still only worth a 9.6. All that work for just an extra 1/10 of a point. She does it very well. Kind of the same landing, that one step on the landing. It's almost as if she knows it's only worth a 9.5 or 9.6. I'm just going to take this step.
Mung needs better than a 9.375 to pass Olaru, who's currently second.
Now back to the floor exercise from the Russian Federation.
Watch how good she gets onto the horse. Very nice technique and form very clean throughout. Well done.
And Svetlana Horkina, who will not take gold tonight.
Watch her go for this, though. There is no one more expressive and more exotic in this routine.
Does she like to show herself? Well, not only on the floor, 40 by 40, but on the page, 8.5 by 11. Was in the November 97 Russian Playboy.
She may not win the gold tonight, but the people in this building will not forget that they saw her delightful performance.
And we should be seeing Horkina compete later in the week in some of the individual event competitions. She needs a better than 9.388 to pass Olaru, who's currently in second. She is the 98 European champion.
That is classic Svetlana Horkina, though. She is mesmerizing in her dance, but sometimes she can't pull off those difficult tumbling passes. You said it best during the European Championship. She's almost like a stork, that when she's on and hitting really well, she's gorgeous. But if she's slightly off and can't get it back, it's a little ugly, like the landing of that dismount.
Dominique Moceanu trying to hold back the emotions, but she can't. Her tears are welling up in her eyes. Simona Amanar, first vault, needs better than a 9.587 to pass Mung for the bronze.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for our final competitor this evening, to the floor exercise.
Amanar, best in the world in the vault for several years. Olympic gold 96, 98 World Cup first, 97 and 95 World Championships first, 96 Europeans first. And on the floor, Ling Ji.
We should remember this name. I think we're going to see more of her. Very impressive. Needs a little bit more experience.
Chinese coaches, who are normally very modest about their talented gymnasts, say that they expect her to win the beam and the bars at the Olympics in Sydney, so they have high aspirations for her as well.
She's just looking to the 99 Worlds to be held in Tianjin, China, just 2.5 hours from where she trains in Beijing. And this 15-year-old looks very poised tonight. Poised and full of fun.
Very few gymnasts can get away with that.
You know? And she picked some challenging music, and yet she could pull it off.
That's some big choreography for a little girl.
'16-year-old Dominique Moceanu of Houston, Texas, is the gold medalist in the women's all-around competition. The silver goes to Romania's Maria Otharu. Romania's Simona Amanar is the bronze medalist. Wang Fei of China, 4th place. Sierra Sapinar of the United States is 5th. Olga Teslenko of the Ukraine, the 6th place finisher. 7th place, Svetlana Orkina of the Russian Federation. Australia's Zina McLaughlin is 8th. Lingji of China tied for 8th as well. In 10th place for the Russian Federation, Yelena Plotnova, and in 11th place from Belarus, Elena Poloskova. On the platform, accepting the gold medal for the 1998 Goodwill Games, the women's all-around gymnastics competition, Dominique Moceanu. Again, the medalists in the women's all-around gymnastics competition receiving their medals. Dominique Moceanu of the United States winning the gold medal here at the Goodwill Games. Tears of joy for Dominique Moceanu on the platform at the Nassau Coliseum, the gold medalist for the women's all-around gymnastics competition. It was 2 years ago that she became the youngest member of the U.S. gymnastics team ever to win a gold medal at just 14 years of age, and now adding a Goodwill Games gold medal to her collection as well this evening. Along with the gold medal, a $10,000 first prize for her performance this evening in the all-around competition.